Thank you for joining Rabbit Flea Productions as we dive into one of the darkest corners of the modern internet. Public trust in traditional institutions is at record lows, while social isolation and economic uncertainty have become the standard experience for millions of people online. Many are reaching for digital lifelines. They follow wellness gurus and wealth influencers who promise to solve these systemic anxieties through miraculous health cures or instant financial freedom. Gwyneth Paltrow has built a $250 million empire by selling alternative therapies and expensive supplements to audiences seeking a sense of control over their own bodies. On the other side of the feed, figures like Tate market high-control machismo, promising young men that unshakable confidence and luxury lifestyles are accessible only through their specific private networks. The sales of these supplements and digital courses rely on the specific psychological blueprints used by destructive cults. In a digital-first economy, the distinction between a healthy community and a highly controlled psychological trap is often impossible to see. Psychiatrist Robert Lifton documented the mechanics of thought reform after studying prisoners in Maoist China. He found that intense indoctrination could rewrite a person's identity through constant repetition and total environment control. This chart outlines the Byte model, a diagnostic tool categorizing 4 methods of authoritarian control: behavior, information, thought, and emotional manipulation. Modern creators apply these pillars through daily content. Followers often accumulate 10,000 hours of immersion through videos, podcasts, and community chats. Social media algorithms act as a digital gatekeeper. They curate information to ensure the user only sees content that reinforces the creator's worldview, effectively filtering out scientific consensus or legitimate criticism. This algorithmic loop functions as a borderless compound, isolating followers psychologically without the need for physical walls. The first major red flag is milieu control, where a creator manufactures an us versus them narrative to dominate the follower's perception of reality. Wellness influencers often pit their holistic followers against the medical establishment. They draw on the blueprint established by figures like Andrew Wakefield to frame mainstream science as a conspiratorial enemy. Wealth influencers use the same tactic, labeling their followers as lions or enlightened, while dismissing the rest of society as sheeple, trapped in a simulated matrix. This manufactured division demands absolute loyalty to the leader. The guru is positioned as the only reliable source of truth in a hostile and deceptive world. Followers are trained to reject warnings from friends and family as hate or negativity, creating a defensive barrier that protects the group from outside intervention. Thought control often relies on thought-stopping cliches, buzzwords like limiting beliefs or doing the work, that are used to terminate any internal questioning. These phrases act as a linguistic circuit breaker. When doubt arises, the community uses this jargon to shift focus away from the creator's claims and toward the follower's own perceived failings. This chart illustrates the self-sealing logic used in these groups. If a follower fails to get rich or heal their body, the blame is placed on their mindset rather than the product being sold. In this system, the guru is infallible. Any failure is the student's defect, which forces them to double down on the group's teachings to prove their commitment. Influencers build deep parasocial trust through faux vulnerability and love bombing, using emotional intimacy to lower a follower's critical defenses. This sales funnel shows how that trust is monetized. Free content captures the audience, who are then gradually led into a paid ecosystem of introductory courses and subscription services. At the bottom of the funnel, the creator sells high-ticket items like $10,000 Inner Circle memberships. The price increases as the follower seeks closer personal proximity to the leader. At this stage, the creator is selling psychological dependency. They are monetizing the follower's need for belonging rather than providing a business strategy or a medical cure. This constant immersion has a biological impact. Thousands of hours of repetitive messaging and social pressure carve automatic neural pathways in the brain, much like the process of learning to drive. These deeply grooved pathways make the group's ideology the brain's default response. The victim isn't just convinced, their cognitive architecture has been physically adapted to the group's framework. Leaving the group triggers an immediate survival response in the amygdala, leading to acute anxiety and disorientation. Because neuroplasticity is a slow biological process, strengthening new neural connections to replace the old ones typically requires 2 to 5 years. A counter-movement is emerging where professionals and creators use these same platforms to deconstruct wellness conspiracies and identify manipulative marketing tactics. Healing begins by physically breaking the algorithmic echo chamber and establishing real-world connections that exist outside the creator's influence. One principle remains the ultimate red flag. True leaders and legitimate experts do not punish you for asking questions. A genuine community will never charge you a 5-figure premium for the right to belong. If you found this breakdown helpful and want to support independent, critical content, please hit the like button and subscribe. We are not yet monetized, so checking out the link to our link tree in the description is the best way to help support Rabbit Flea Productions and keep this channel going. Thanks for watching.